What's up, guys? This is the beginning of our first podcast for the MC show. Hope everybody enjoys our insightfulness on it and things that we are going to be discussing. Should be a lot of interesting topics that we're going to go on tonight, guys. We'll kind of keep it limited tonight since this is our first show.
Hey, man.
Hey, what's up, bro? Sorry I had those
What's
problems.
going on?
Oh, nothing. I was just letting everybody know this was going to be the first segment of our, MC
First
show.
episode. First episode.
And we talk about things that maybe we should discuss tonight. I guess since we lit in, we went in conspiracies and we got our JFK channel, I figured we could maybe touch on a couple of conspiracies and
Okay. All right. Starting off big with a conspiracy episode.
yeah, what about that? I brought up, I don't want to say I've shocked you, but I brought up things you've never heard before when researchers really get into it and they start, hey, well, maybe this guy's telling the truth, or maybe this guy's lying.
I know that I want to touch on we were talking about the Martin Luther King assassination.
Yeah.
Well, I've done a lot of research on it now, so if you wanted to get back into that one for a little bit, I'll jump in with you.
Sure, go ahead.
Wait a minute. Okay. Okay. So you would have to go over the way you explain the conspiracy, and then I can throw in my stuff.
Well, you me go on about how he was. Hold up. I'm still here. Just can't.
Yeah, try to stay on camera, man. I mean, this is a show.
Trying to, bro. I'm just trying to find a cigarette lighter. I guess it doesn't matter. I can look for him. Okay. So, do you want me to go into why he was killed?
No, just you explain the conspiracy, and
well, supposedly.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Supposedly, he gets off this shot that hits King in the throat, and there's no reason out there to believe that he is was a sniper by any means.
No.
Then right after the assassination of Dr. King, there's a man that was reported running by this store, and all these clothes are dropped that has his name tag, his bag, laundry thing there, and nobody's seen his face, and they jump in a vehicle matching his description, but nobody ever seen who dropped the bag. There's also another interesting one that I don't know how much truth it is, but there was a old man who owned a chicken restaurant, and
I heard about this.
They say the day after the shooting, he comes back into the restaurant visibly shaking and had a rifle with him.
Right.
Now, my own personal opinion, I believe it was a Green Beret sniper team. And
okay.
I first heard that, Mike, and I haven't told a lot of people this, and a lot of people think I'm crazy, but 20 years ago when I was a kid, I had an uncle who used to run around with some, very shady characters. And he told me 20-something years ago that MLK was killed by a Green Beret sniper team. And I thought, man, that's the craziest thing I ever heard. And then 15 years later, they find the guy who they think actually did it. And
what was his name?
Can't recall his name, but there was a book that was written on it, and the guy, they came out and, the guy basically just called him a liar. But I think it was definitely a Green Beret sniper team, and that's a lot easier.
No, I'm saying, what's the guy's name that they have in jail for it?
James Earl Ray. He's passed away
James
now.
Earl Ray. Okay, well, I have reason to believe that James Earl Ray did do it.
Okay.
And I know that the big problem that I mentioned last time why I believed it could have been a conspiracy was because the family was actually visiting this guy in jail.
That is true. The family never believed it.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, my thing is, James Earl Ray was a petty criminal. You know,
Yeah, he also escaped from jail. I mean, just
also escaped from jail. You know, in a criminal case, what would his motive be to kill Dr. King?
um in fact that there was actually a bounty on if someone could take him out that there would be a prize. This bounty was put out by a racist little sect down south. Maybe something to do with the KKK. And James Earl Ray and his brother could very well have heard about this.
But you don't
But
think it's I mean, if somebody drops off their laundry bag with their name on it, I mean, it's like they're like wanting to get caught.
who did that?
They don't know. Like I said, as soon as the shots took place, there was a man that was seen running away from the scene, had James Earl Ray bag, his name on it,
Oh, okay.
and it was dropped, and nobody seen his face, and he jumped in a car matching James Earl Ray and sped off.
Okay. Now, there's a couple problems. The problem is that James Earl Ray had that room rented out. But he rented that room out from where the shots were fired.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was in there. And when you talk about this bag that had his rifle and whatever,
May
little
not have been in there. He may not have been in there. You know, he may
yeah,
have rented the room. Because you got to remember, James Earl Ray flew out of the country to England.
yeah, I know he did.
Yeah. You know, I just have a problem with some petty criminal pulling off assassination of one of the, you know, great, you know.
I I I I don't know. I mean, this guy escaped from jail. He's not that petty of a criminal if he can escape from jail.
But he was not. He was a non-violent criminal.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, but I mean, his fingerprints were on the fucking weapon.
That shouldn't surprise you.
He had that room rented out.
Look, I'm not saying it wasn't his rifle.
He also had that room rented out.
Yeah, but in those days, right there, anybody could go in and rent a room, not show any ID, and just
Yeah,
sign something.
I guess.
It's not
But
like you know, when we
he
go
had that
rent a room.
room rented out, and it's my opinion that after he took those shots, he wrapped that bag up that was found, and with the rifle and all that stuff. And when he walked out that front door, the police were already out there. So he dropped that bag and walked to his car and took off. That's my
Well, Mike,
opinion.
come on now, buddy. Let's think this through because you're an intelligent guy. Why, you know, they have nothing to him except for the room. They really can't prove that the room came from there. Why are you going to drop something that incriminate? Hold on, I spilled something. How are you going to drop something that incriminating that is going to tie you undoubtedly to that case? And
Well,
I'll tell you something else.
you're gonna drop it because the police were parked right out front, and he didn't want to be seen leaving with a bag. So he gets in his car and flees the country so he doesn't get caught.
But Mike, you're going to drop something that's going to, you know, tie you to it and incriminate it. Come on, man, I don't buy that.
Well, he dropped it so he didn't. If he continued on carrying it, he would have got arrested. He would have got questioned right away for coming out of that building with a big long bag. So he dropped it.
Yeah, I just have a hard time with him it covering his face, nobody seeing him dropping it, and he runs waiting into the car that is waiting for him. You know, and as far as fleeing the
No,
country,
well, he didn't have somebody waiting for him. He didn't have somebody waiting for him.
You don't know that. They fled in a car that was similar to it. I mean, I think there was more people involved in James Earl Ray. Now, why the trip to London? I don't know. That's a country with extradition. To me, if you're going to kill somebody like that, you're getting on a plane. You're getting in a country with no extradition.
Okay, so why leave the country?
Um, I mean, that's a good point. And I don't know if it was something that he was drawn into this somehow and knew he was going to get framed. I don't know why he left. Um, if you've ever looked at where the shots was taken, that was a very difficult shot. You're kneeling,
Mm-mm.
you're standing up on a sink in a
On a
very short,
bathtub, on a bathtub.
yeah, excuse me, on a bathtub, and you're going to get a headshot off from that distance with somebody who's not
Well,
even supposedly, a trained
yeah, I
marksman.
think so. I think so. It's definitely not a long shot by no means.
I'm going to tell you, Mike, just like I said, when I heard that, my uncle, I thought it was the craziest thing he ever heard. And I think it was a Green Beret sniper team, and James Earl Ray was the fall guy. And I'll tell you what else in this, our conspiracy things. It would be much easier for a Green Beret sniper team to pull off an assassination than it would President Kennedy.
It would what? Throw that again?
It would be much easier to have a Green Beret sniper team kill Dr. King than what it would Kennedy. All you got to get is one guy give orders, say, take this guy out.
Yeah, but what did you say about Kennedy?
It would be much easier
Yeah,
to kill Dr. King as a result of a conspiracy than it would be Kennedy. All you need is one commander to have an order, hey, take this guy out as an enemy of the state.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Now, I'd like to say I'm not definitive on my opinion right now, like I am with the Kennedy case. It's just what I looked into it a
Well,
little
don't worry.
bit.
By the time I'm done with you, you'll come around back to my
No,
side.
I definitely won't. Maybe with this I might. Maybe with this one.
Um, and when we get into RFK, I believe I can bring up multiple shooters there easily.
Yeah, you might be able to. You might be able to. Um, as far as the Kennedy, the JFK, I'm not going to change opinion, but
All right, once I get through with you at dark with Parkland, Bethesda, and Tippett, you're going to be like, wait a second.
no, no, because I
All right,
know
well,
everything. I know everything that's going to come at me. I've believed all that once before, so
yeah, but you don't know what I'm bringing. You do have no idea what I'm bringing at you with Tippett.
yes, I do.
No, you really don't. I
Okay,
mean,
we'll see about that. But that's a JFK case, and we're not talking
that's
about
the
that
thing.
tonight.
We're not staying on that. So,
Um,
any other conspiracies
no,
you
I
want
just
me to
wanted to
know?
bring up that I did look into that MLK assassination, and I do think he did all that. And I also would like to say that it's not Martin Luther King's whole family that doesn't think James Earl Ray did it. It's one of his sons, okay?
His wife
And one of
also
his
thought it too.
what?
His wife also thought it too.
Okay, well, I just heard it was one of his sons, but anyway,
Something else
um,
I'd like to point out too, Mike, and I want you to think about this right here. Um, Art Haynes Jr. and Art Haynes Sr. Those was the guys who defended the first man who was involved in the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing. I'm sure you've heard of that.
yeah,
Yeah, well, he was the first person that was prosecuted, and two high-profile attorneys named Art Haynes and Art Haynes Jr. They were representing him, and
right.
Art Haynes Sr. said something like, they think they've got a strong case. We're going to blow potholes in the whole government's case. Well, the
Yeah,
next day he fired him. He hires an attorney and he pleads guilty, recants the next and asks for a trial, and they never gave him a trial.
right. Um, Now, see that there's a little bit of conspiracy confusion because what happened was his initial attorney actually told him that you're guilty. We think you're guilty of this case. Why don't you work out a plea? He didn't want to work out a plea, so he fired that guy. The new attorney he ended up just pleading guilty to it.
No, our Hayes Senior was the original one. They was going to take it
That's what I meant. I just my bad. I just got it switched up. My fault.
taking it to
Wait.
trial. They was gonna contest those charges.
Hmm. Yeah, but yeah. I just wanted to say the son, and you say the wife too, but I heard just the son was saying that they don't think James Earl Ray did it. They were visiting him in jail. Now the reason why the son was saying all this is because he read a specific book by a conspiracy guy um, that said that it could have been the work of military snipers, and um, and he believed that, and and that's why he started going and visiting the guy in jail. But there's video on YouTube that shows that guy who wrote that conspiracy book was completely debunked, and when they brought that up to the Martin Luther King's son, he kind of was stunned, and he couldn't believe that what he was believing was actually turned out to be bullshit. And he still didn't give up saying that he believed the guy was innocent, but you could tell very much that he was shocked by what he was initially believing turned out to be bullshit. But
Yeah.
I mean that's as far as I went into it. I can't go too much detail, but I am of the opinion that James Earl Ray did it. I'm not convinced, but I lean towards it.
Well, I still have issues with the case.
I mean, I guess I have some issues too, but I'm just saying I lean towards that opinion.
You're not 100% certain.
No, no, just because I don't know a shitload about it.
You want to go into another conspiracy theory while we're?
Yeah, what do you got?
Let's go with the other night. When you asked me about the lunar landing, and
Yeah,
I don't believe we ever walked on the moon.
okay. I see. I think this one's completely bizarre. This is just we went to the moon, and I don't know why.
Well, let me tell you why. First of all, the navigational systems we have today is nothing like it was in 1969. If they had been off 0.1%, they would have went thousands of miles off in the other direction.
Okay, okay.
The other
But
way, the other
it's fair
thing,
to say that we did have good enough navigation system to get them on the moon. We definitely did.
um,
It may not be as good of navigation system as we have now, but we had it and we could have done it.
okay. First of all, you're not going to know how much fuel is going to be able to take you there. Um, we could have never survived the Van Allen belts because it would have uh, took out of all of our electrical grids.
That's actually not true. There are ways to get through the Van Allen radiation belt.
Russians never tried it, and their space program was better than ours then.
They have tried it. Um, they didn't make it through, but there are ways to make it through. I watched a whole video on scientists explaining how they could have made it through there.
And the thing I like to point out, I want you to another thing is I want you to look at how they took pictures, and they take one picture 5 miles away, one 3 miles away, and it was the same photos.
Now, what do you mean now?
Look at the
Took
pictures,
pictures of what?
pictures they took on the moon, and
Uh,
it would be, they'd show one picture and it'd be 5 miles away, one video would be 3 miles away, and it was the same thing. Another thing I'd like to point out is there was no landing pad. How did they take back off?
oh, they had a reemergence system. They had a whole retakeoff system built in. All you got to do is look it up.
And my final point is, if Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon, who was videotaping him walking down the steps?
Whoever walked down the steps first. That's simple as that.
Nobody walked down the steps first. Who was the first person down there?
Obviously, he wasn't if somebody was filming from below.
Right.
Unless they perched the camera down there. I don't know.
Well, how did they perch it?
I don't know. To videotape him coming down the stairs, I don't know. But that still doesn't prove no conspiracy here.
Well,
That's just
somebody had to be
scientific.
taking videos.
I
See
didn't
how
hear
long?
what you said there.
Didn't you say somebody got on the other night about 9/11? Said we was idiots or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. Yeah. I wish I could invite them on here right now.
I mean, so is this person going to tell me that thousands of people went into that building planting explosives and not one person seen them?
Yes, they are going to tell you that.
And they're going to tell you that, yeah, metal doesn't burn? Well, yes, it also melt. It also, um,
Weekends.
yes.
Yeah. And
Now,
I would like anybody who believes that the 9/11 conspiracy about the explosives being in the towers and stuff like that. If you believe that, if you have the balls to jump on and contest me, because Chris doesn't believe it either. So if you got something, you got the balls to jump on and contest both of us, have at it.
bring it on because I mean, I know a lot about, this too. But now, one thing I told you the other night that I really believe, I believe there was a conspiracy, a minor conspiracy that I believe that the Bush administration let it happen in order for us to go to war with Iraq. Because if 9/11 had never taken place, we never would have been in war with Iraq.
Yeah. I'm not in disagreement with you on that.
I mean, I think it was a false flag. I mean, so to speak.
Right, but you totally discredit the whole, you know,
The truth, or
explosives,
the truth,
demolitions.
yeah.
Yeah.
In my explanation, and this may sound crazy, but when people said they heard bombs going off, I'm sure there was explosions that was taking place as a building is
Well, see,
burning.
you know who said that? It was the people that went in, the firefighters who went into the first floor and they heard explosions. You know what those explosions were? Were elevators flying that got burnt and were flying down the shaft and eventually landed. They've found that they've come to realize that that's what those booms were.
Well, that makes perfect sense then.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean that makes total sense with that. I mean, but no,
And we can both admit, yeah, the way the buildings fell, it does look weird, but it's not the result of explosives.
now I do believe the plane in Shanksville was shot down only because I think it was going back to the White House and they had no choice but to shoot it down.
Okay, but again, that's really not conspiracy. That's just
I mean, the government had no choice.
right.
I mean, you couldn't let them take out the White House. So no, I don't think that. I think there was probably a mild cover up because there was no bodies recovered from Shanksville.
Right. Right.
But no, I mean, he
Um,
made that this stuff was planted, and I mean, they're kidding themselves.
yeah, and they love to bring up building number 7
Building number 7, yeah.
because that's where like the CIA were or something, and there's a lot of paperwork and stuff in that building that they wanted to get rid of, so they just demolition the whole building. Well,
Yeah,
wouldn't a paper shredder work just as good to get rid of some papers?
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's just completely bizarre. It's completely bizarre. You do not need those buildings were not taken down by explosives. No way.
I mean, you know how many people you would have to be involved in that?
Sure, it's ridiculous. It's astronomical.
I mean, you're talking about thousands, thousands, thousands of people, all the way up to the President of the United States.
Yes. Yep. And another big thing that they say is, well, jet fuel can't melt steel beams, and like you said, it doesn't have to melt the steel beams. It just has to weaken it.
And that's all it has to do is just weaken.
That's it. I mean, and then another thing they like to say is that building was made to take the hit of airliner. Actually, no, it wasn't meant to take a hit of an airliner of that size. But I'd like to also add, it did initially take the hit. It didn't fall right away. It took that hit for a while.
Oh yeah, I mean dead on.
I mean, and then they go into saying that building number 7 could not have came down with just office fires because that's what they say took it down. Yeah, there was office fires because there was jet fuel and all types of shit falling down onto building 7.
Yeah, I mean, but no, I've never ever believed, that conspiracy. I think that's just ludicrous to think that would take place. And I'm a conspiracy oriented guy. You still there?
Yeah,
Okay. Kind of went out on me. I
sorry
lost
about
my,
that.
I lost my cigarettes, man.
Well, shit, find them.
Yeah, I'm looking. And can't find them. Just had them just a second ago, and they got to be, laying around here somewhere.
Brandon, are you watching this video still?
Is that our friend who believes in Trade
No,
Center?
it's not him. It's not him, but he might believe the conspiracy. Brandon, say something. You believe it was a conspiracy?
Do I believe the conspiracy?
No, I'm asking him, but he's not going to be man enough to make a comment.
What, 9/11 conspiracy? Like I said, I do believe the conspiracy that the Bush administration let it happen.
I'm not. I don't. That's different. That's really not.
I mean, we've had this happen throughout history. I mean, the Gulf of Tonkin resolution. We let Pearl Harbor happen to get us into the war.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
I mean,
But
so this is not something that's oh, my cigarettes was right up under me. So this is not something our government has not done before. You want to talk about another conspiracy, or you want to stay on, what our government's done?
no, I mean, no, we can. You got another one or?
Well, yeah, I talked about this the other night, and I wanted to point out that I don't think Elvis died in 1977.
No, yeah. That's right.
Because there was the day Elvis died, the next day they buried him, so nobody else, um, visited the
right.
body, and there was reports of the body sweating in the casket, and Elvis's name was um, RON,
Yeah,
and
you were saying that.
and it was misspelled on his birth certificate, and you know, but on his grave it is misspelled. Now, if his father went to those great lengths to have it changed on his birth certificate, surely he wouldn't let him be buried like that. And and then the one thing that I like to point out, up until this day, nobody's ever cashed in Elvis's insurance policy.
Right. Um, but that is that the only reason why you believe that it was a conspiracy is because of the gravestone?
Uh, I think that points out to it the life insurance policy not checking out, not being cashed in. I think that there was a book that was written, about a famous star that faked his death and then made a return. And now that book's nowhere to be found on the shelves. And a few months after Elvis died, there was a guy who was performing out in Vegas, and he kept his face covered up, and he sounded so much like Elvis. And he did 3 performances, never performed again, and that was the last time he might have ever seen him.
Oh, okay. So why would you think that Elvis would fake his death? Do you
Bird out.
uh,
Bird out. I mean, the guy was traveling 28, 29, 30 days, but putting on shows. I just think he's just burnt out.
so you think he would just fake his death to stop that? I'm sure he could have stopped that some other way.
Yeah, but he would always been in public eye.
Right. But I mean, if he was burnt out from doing shows, but he could have stopped doing shows.
Yeah, but he's still gonna be a public figure.
So what?
Well, if he's that burnt out, he's gonna be able to get out totally.
I guess I don't see. I don't believe that conspiracy, but um, that's either here nor there. That's really not like a government conspiracy.
We'll have to get in the RFK one night too.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I wish I'd have to look more into that one.
Oh, the more you look into that, you're like, wow.
Yeah, I would. I definitely would have to. I have to look more into it. Like I mean, the way you were explaining it to me last week when you were saying that he was shot in the back of the head. I forget. Actually, I forget how you explained it.
Yeah, he was shot within about 2 inches from his right temple.
Right, and
There were more bullet wounds.
Sirhan.
Yeah, there were more bullet wounds that was found in the pantry than that was actually fired.
Now, but wasn't Sirhan firing shots, or he didn't just fire one shot, right?
No, he fired off about 5.
Okay, so you don't think that could attest for the all the bullet holes or whatever they found in?
No, because Robert Kennedy. Well, well, I said there was more bullet holes that was actually fired. There was more rounds that was fired.
Then what?
That Sirhan's weapon.
Oh, really? See, I'd have to look into it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, there's holes in the wall.
Huh? What was he firing anyway? Do you know?
I think it was a 22.
6 shooter?
Yeah, I think it was an automatic.
Oh, so how many rounds you got in that?
Well, I got 5 with Sirhan, and I probably got 2 by
No, how
LAPD.
many rounds are in Sirhan's weapon?
Mm,
Fully
well,
loaded.
you got to remember, Sirhan got off 5 shots, and then he was subdued, and they got the gun in his hand. So I would probably say 8 or 9 rounds.
Okay, so he got off 5 shots, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, and one of them allegedly hit the president. Robert Kennedy, and
Yes.
and so there's more than four other bullet holes in the walls. You're saying
I believe there were 6 more.
holes?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to understand because I don't know the details. But that's cool. Okay.
I have to go back and research, make sure I got my facts right on it.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't worry about it because I'm not fully aware of it either. But
Yeah.
I really would love to someone to grow the balls and say back themselves up on this on this 9/11 stuff.
Oh, I'd love to invite somebody. I'd love to have this debate with them.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's just insanity. It's so dumb.
You know that I mean we've talked enough. You know I'm a conspiracy theorist,
Yes,
but
sir.
I throw out all the junk.
Yeah,
Like we
like in JFK. For those of
yeah
you who
like
don't know, me and Chris have a JFK podcast type thing where we debate section after section of the whole JFK assassination case. We do not leave any stone unturned.
absolutely not.
Nope. And we debate. I'm of the opinion that Oswald acted alone. Chris is not, and we debate. And Chris does not go into any bizarro stuff. He eliminates all the goofiness. And
I mean, one thing I don't know if you went on the JFK site. There's this guy named Jim Phelps, and he claims this was a
yeah,
mafia hit, and I'm like,
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, so you should read his new post. He's got the Freemasons in it now that were local to that area. I mean, this guy, it's just insane.
well, I'd like to point out one thing he brought out. He claims that Ruby brought in the shooters, and one of them was James Files. The other one was a Mr. Nicoletti who was fired from the Daltex building, and he has a murder of Tippett. Now, how would you plan? How would you have that murder of Tippett planned out?
Right,
I mean, my opinion on Tippett, I know I'll get into it when we get into Tippett on why Tippett was killed, but why would you have a shooter for Tippett?
right.
The guy would obviously be had looking for Tippett.
Well, so since now there's more viewers, I just want to point out that we're talking about the JFK case. We have our own debate channel, me and Chris. We go section after section and we touch on everything. Chris believes there's a conspiracy. I believe that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. And that's basically what we were just talking about. Also, we were talking about the 9/11 conspiracy, and neither one of us believe that those buildings came down by a conspiracy, explosions, and detonations to take the buildings down.
No, I
A
mean
lot of
you'd have
a
to have
lot of people
thousands.
think those buildings were taken down by explosives, and if you believe that, please comment because we'd like to clear it up for you.
Yeah, I mean I'd love to. I mean that's just that's ridiculous. I mean you'd have to talk about thousands of people involved,
Yeah,
and conspiracy has to be a limited number of people.
yeah. I mean, we both agree that the government could have known about it prior to it happening and letting it happen, but that's as far as we go with the nine
Yeah.
eleven thing. Now, like I said, with JFK, it's a little different. Chris does believe there's a conspiracy there. I believe Oswald acted alone. But if you're interested in that, we have our videos up. We have a YouTube channel for our JFK stuff, and we would love to hear feedback.
Yeah, and please share the video. If anybody has any comments to make, I'd love to hear them.
Yeah, and please comment if you think 9/11 was a conspiracy. Please comment if you think Oswald didn't act alone. Please mention a conspiracy you want us to talk about. Something.
Oh yeah,
Also
yeah.
talked about the moon landing conspiracy, and like I see that my uncle Bob Kennedy is watching right now. Bob, do you believe that it was a conspiracy that we landed on the moon? Are people gonna have the balls to make a comment? Anyway, but you said that on the moon thing, you said they were taking pictures from 5 miles and 3 miles. I didn't
Yeah.
really understand that.
Well, all right. It was like this right here. They had oh God, oh, I gotta find something. They had pictures they was taking of like them on the rovers, and they would be like 5 miles away one day, 3 miles away one day. And when you look at the pictures, it was the exact same pictures of where they was at,
Now you're saying 5 miles away from what?
like from where they landed.
Oh,
So they went
okay.
while they was exploring.
All right. Okay. And so because of that, and because of your opinion, which is wrong, that we can't get through the Van Allen radiation belts, you think it was a conspiracy.
Yes.
Okay. So you don't think that there would be some credible people by now that would have leaked out that saying that it was a conspiracy?
Well, not really, because I believe all the people out in NORAD actually thought they was watching this, and that wouldn't be hard to do. Also, I don't think that we have the capabilities to broadcast something from, um, Earth to Moon at that time.
Well, we did, and it's obviously not good footage. It's not great footage at all. But we definitely have the capabilities of doing that stuff, man. But at least
Mm.
you say you don't think that we did. You're not saying definitively.
Mm. I would lean towards no, it never happened.
Well, please, people, comment if you think the moon landing was a conspiracy. Say something. I mean, I don't think it was. I don't think it was at all. I don't think 9/11 was a conspiracy. I don't think JFK was a conspiracy.
Well,
Um,
that's for
what about these mass shootings, Chris? Do you think these mass shootings are fake or government controlled to have to be able to eventually take our guns away?
no, I couldn't see our government being involved in something like that and killing innocent people.
Yeah, because you know the Boston Marathon bombing?
Yeah.
A lot of people say that that was done by the government, and the reason being is because, okay, who is Trevor Fitz, Chris?
Trevor Fitz.
Okay, we
There
got some
goes
people
more.
commenting.
Somebody just commented. Uh, we got two comments.
Okay, my Uncle Bob believes 9/11 and the moon landing was not a conspiracy. Now, Bob, what do you think about JFK? Trevor, we don't know what you mean by more than likely was. What are you talking about?
The moon landing.
I don't know. I don't know which one he's specifically talking about.
Trevor, which one was it, buddy? Was it moon landing or?
Thanks for the comment, guys, too.
Yeah, yeah, love to hear comments. Bob, do you think the Kennedy assassination was a conspiracy?
I believe he. Okay.
Okay,
Okay, so
Trevor.
Trevor thinks the moon landing was a
Man,
conspiracy.
me and Trevor's of the same opinion that we never walked on the moon.
Okay, so me and Bob agree that it was not a conspiracy.
Okay, so all right, so 2-2.
Trevor, what do you think about 9/11? Because me, Chris, and Bob don't think that was a conspiracy.
Now, I will say, though, again, let me reiterate, I believe there was a conspiracy that the Bush administration allowed it to happen to get us into a war with Iraq. Because if 9/11 had never taken place, we never would have went to war with Iraq.
Right, okay, but I'm talking about as far as the explosives and shit like that.
No, that never happened.
Right, I agree. It's amazing how many people do believe it, though.
Oh, I mean, the truthers, you know, they're just way out there, man.
Yeah, yeah. They got that, what do they call it? Nanothermite.
Yeah. Yeah, that was placed off of the building.
Yeah, it's just impossible.
Oh yeah, I mean there was just no way, no way that happened. I mean, just think about the workers you would have to come in there,
I agree. Oh, I totally agree.
and nobody seen one person coming in there. No, you know, they said they
And,
painted the walls in there. You know, I don't know.
and you know how long they would have to be in there and
You know what that proved.
bringing all that shit in there? You know how long this would have taken? No one's seen this.
Oh, you're talking about months and months and months.
Yeah, I mean, you're planting explosives.
So, Bob, Trevor, what do y'all think about JFK? Y'all need to watch our videos, guys. Go to
Yeah,
uh,
please comment. What do you think about JFK, guys? I think Oswald acted alone. But yeah, as far as our videos on JFK, we have our YouTube page called MC JFK Assassination Debates, Conspiracy or Not. And if you are interested in that JFK assassination, you would want to check these videos out, man. They're really good. We go detail for detail. We don't miss anything. We're both well
um,
informed.
I think we've both made out good cases for conspiracy and good cases for a long nut.
Yes, sir. I totally agree. Um,
Um,
if I had to guess, I would say Bob thinks JFK was a conspiracy. And if I had to guess, I don't even know Trevor, but if he thinks the moon landing was a conspiracy, I bet he would think 9/11 in JFK was too.
well, he said JFK was shot by some asshole. He said he don't believe there was a conspiracy, but he said 9/11. I do believe there was a conspiracy. Someone had to know what was going on, what was going to happen. Like I said, I think it was probably the Bush administration.
Okay, but does he think that there was planted bombs?
I don't know, Trevor. Do you think there was planted bombs?
People scared to comment. Man, we're on a live video. We ain't scared to do shit.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Anyway, earlier we were discussing a little bit of boxing. Uh, oh, here's my friend Rachel. She's watching. Rachel's a very intelligent girl. Rachel, we were just talking about three conspiracies: the moon landing, um, JFK, and 9/11. Uh, I don't think JFK was a conspiracy. I don't think 9/11 was a conspiracy, and I don't think the moon landing was a conspiracy. Do you think any of those were a conspiracy, Rach? Now, Rach is a very smart girl. Derp? What does that mean, Rach?
I don't know.
There we go. Okay. She thinks JFK and the moon landing were not conspiracies. Cool. I agree with you, hon. So apparently you think 9/11 was. Oh, maybe. Okay.
Oh my God, I could go. Mm.
Now, do you believe like Chris believes it was a conspiracy only as far as maybe the Bush administration knew it was going to happen and just let it happen? But do you think that there was explosives in the building? Because we don't go that far.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, well here we go with Trevor. Trevor thinks they probably did plant explosives.
Well, Trevor, how did they get those explosives in there with nobody seeing them? Nobody seeing these workers doing this.
And why do you think that building was brought down by explosives? Because I'm not afraid to admit that, yeah, it does look weird when the building falls down. But that's because it was hit by a fucking plane and it was a very tall building and it fell down. We're not used to seeing
Right, and
that.
as more weight went on top of it, it just collapsed.
Pancake. It pancaked down. But there is no falling at free fall speed. That's another thing they say.
Um, you know.
I mean, the 9/11 conspiracy people, there's some really bizarre ones that say the planes were actually holograms and there
Oh,
was
and
there
none
was
of
a
the
death
planes
ray.
none of the planes actually took off that day.
Yeah. Okay. Rach said she thinks it could have been prevented better.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't disagree with that, but my whole theory is the Bush administration. Paul Wolfowitz was head of a conservative think tank back in the '90s, in '97, and he was trying to find an entrance strategy into Iraq as early as 1997.
Right.
So these guys were planning to go back to war with Iraq. For what reason, I don't know. I think it
Mm.
was to gain I think it was to gain a foothold in the Middle East.
Yeah. See, my uncle Bob says that JFK is a good possibility for a conspiracy. Yeah, for a number of reasons you think that, huh, Bob? What are your number of reasons that it was a conspiracy? Because Chris believes the conspiracy in the JFK one. Um,
I also remember a limited conspiracy. I don't think it was going on between the mob, the FBI, the
yeah.
CIA. Yeah, I think there was 12 to 15 people involved, a rogue element of the CIA that was wanting to train Cubans to go back in for another invasion.
Hmm.
Or that was one of them. But honestly, the reason I really think that
Yes, Bob,
Kennedy,
I understand. I understand what you said. We were
I
asking
think,
why you think that.
I think Kennedy was killed because Kennedy was fixed to pull us out of Vietnam. The day after Kennedy was buried, LBJ reversed his proposal, and there in that document lay the Vietnam War.
Right. My problem with that is okay, Kennedy was going to take us out of Vietnam. Okay, so what we do in this country when somebody goes against what the people want to do is just kill them. That's how. I mean, that's bizarre to me. Too far fetched.
Let me fix me another Coca-Cola. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Appreciate the comments though, Bob. That's cool stuff.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
what was it?
Rachel, I agree with you, Rach. They are very difficult to trust. And if you need to head to bed, honey, go for it. Sleep well.
Oh no, I'm here, man. I had to fix me another Coke.
No, I'm talking to people that are commenting, man.
Huh?
I'm trying to talk to people that are commenting, man.
Oh.
And Trevor, you said they're going to for the oil. There was money to be made with the oil. I agree. All right, Rach. Good night, sweetheart.
I don't buy that Texas oil man killed Kennedy.
Well, no, Trevor was talking about with 9/11. That's why we went there for the oil.
Oh. Well, all right, and here, and I'll make a good point out of that. Um, a lot of people don't realize that we get 70% of our oil from Canada. We get 20% from Venezuela. We
Right.
get 10% here. We get uh, 5% from somewhere, maybe Saudi Arabia. We only get like 1% of our oil from Iraq. So no, I don't think we went to war to get control of their money. I think what my opinion is manifest destiny. We were destined to control all the seas. I think this is just a continuation of manifest destiny where we want to control every region of the world.
It's not a bad point. Get on the camera, Chris, man. It's a show. It's a show.
Yeah, sorry, brother. I was pouring this Coca-Cola. I'm back on it. But yeah,
Okay.
I think that's why we went there. We wanted to have a foothold in the Middle East, a strong military presence, to make a deterrent against Israel.
I have no reason to contest that. And all I'm contesting with 9/11 is that it was not brought down by explosives. That's all. That's
Yeah. Well, I think we made that point well.
yeah, but we still got people commenting and stuff and trying to.
Well, okay. Give me one piece of evidence how that took place.
How
You're
what took
saying that
place?
you're saying that people came in there for months and months and planted explosives in that building with nobody seeing them.
Hold on. We got a comment from Bob here. I think it's about JFK. Racism extremes within the government. I heard many adult men as a kid say they'd kill him if they could. Kennedy, I guess he's talking about. I think it's taken to a deeper level, and that racism was the biggest motivator. To kill Kennedy?
No, I don't buy that at all.
No, no.
No, I don't see that at all. Because in fact, if you want to get technical about it, LBJ did more for the black community
I'd
than.
like to add though, Chris, that my uncle Bob here, he's not one of my Boston family. He's my mom's side of the family, so he's North Carolina.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, this is my co-host who doesn't stand in front of the camera here.
Sorry, brother. I was trying to find my cigarettes again in my lighter. I got you. I'm back. um, I mean, I don't know.
Now, Bob,
Um,
I don't doubt that you heard many people say that you've heard people say that they would kill him if they could, but I don't. That doesn't prove anything about a conspiracy.
no, because how many people have said that about a president?
Exactly. I mean, people are saying it about Trump. People said it about Obama. I mean,
Yeah. So no, I don't think that proves conspiracy at all.
here's a better question, Bob. Why do you think Oswald didn't do it? That's a good question because Chris can answer that for me with his opinion, and you can watch that in our videos about that.
Yeah, watch the videos because it'll take too long to explain it. It'll just
No,
go.
no, no. Right now, I like this interaction we got going.
Well, first of all, I mean, you couldn't put the gun in Oswald's hands. Um,
Okay, Bob said if there was a conspiracy. Okay, Bob, what do you mean by that? If there was a conspiracy, you think it was all about racism? You're confusing me here, Bob.
no, I don't think racism had anything to do with the Kennedy
Yeah,
assassination.
you'd have to explain better on that, Bob, because we don't see that what you're talking about there. Why do you think Oswald didn't do it, Bob? How about that? Now, Chris can explain why he doesn't think, but I don't think there's anything about this case that me and Chris don't know. So,
Yeah, not many people know as much. No.
no, it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, you're talking. Chris is on the conspiracy side, and he's not buying the racism part of it.
No, not at all.
First of all, Kennedy's white.
I mean, I get Yeah, I mean, maybe it's because I don't know. No, I don't buy that. You know.
But cool, man. All right, we get to. I like having this little interaction stuff. I like it.
Yeah, it is. It's really good.
Yeah. Earlier today we were talking about boxing and the greatest fights and stuff like that. Um, we were mentioning our favorite fighters. My favorite boxer of all time would have to be Muhammad Ali, but he's in a class of his own. I would have to say Mike Tyson under him. So for me, that's my two top favorite all time.
Mm, I guess mine would be Tyson and Big George.
That's a solid two for sure. Real solid.
And I especially like old
Okay,
George
check it
better.
out. Martin Luther King and the coming racial changes scared the life out of the South and wealthy Southern culture. They thought that Kennedy embraced it. Okay.
Well, the only thing about it is, and I will counter this, Bob. Robert Kennedy really didn't do a whole lot for blacks. Martin Luther or MLK, or excuse me, LBJ did a lot more. He signed the '65 Civil Rights Act. He had his war on poverty. I mean, so LBJ did a lot more for the black community as far as trying to give them equal rights than JFK ever did.
Yeah, but I do think that JFK, if had he had lived, he would have been deeply involved in racial equality.
But no, I don't. Oh, of course I do too. But I just don't buy he was killed because
No, I
I don't.
agree. I agree.
Yeah, I can't go along with that.
But Bob, why do you think that Oswald didn't do it?
And I think Oswald is completely innocent.
Yeah, I know you do. But that uh, Martin Luther King and the coming racial changes scared the life out of the South. Bob, the guy I'm in the video with, Chris, he's from Alabama. He's a very Southern boy.
Well, you also got to remember in 1960, Kennedy carried Alabama.
Right. Oh, good point. Good point, Chris. I mean, Bob, you're older than us. I guess, you lived back then. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, you want to stay on the assassination stuff, or speak a little bit about boxing, or just save that for a
I
new
mean,
segment?
we can still touch on here we go. We got more comments coming in here, man. LBJ spoke with a forked tongue until after JFK's death. What do you mean by that?
I'm sorry, let me read that comment. Um,
Chris, you gotta stay on the camera, man. You're the host.
Sorry, bro. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that, Bob.
Yeah, forked tongue until after his death. Are you implying that LBJ was involved in the assassination? Because I completely go against LBJ being involved in the assassination.
Right.
But then again, I go against everybody being involved except for Oswald.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, yeah.
Bob, do you think Oswald is completely innocent?
Me?
No, Bob.
Well, damn, Mike, we'll be going almost 2 hours, man. You think it's time to wrap it up?
I mean, hold on. This interaction's good stuff, man.
Yeah, it is.
I just don't know what he means by LBJ spoke with a forked tongue until after his death. After we get this comment, we'll close out.
All right.
I mean, you're from the South, Chris. Why do you not think that Oswald could not have physically shot Kennedy?
How, what now?
Okay, I'm trying to read Bob's comment here, Chris. Are you not? Oswald.
Oswald could have physically shot Kennedy. I could have done so as an expert marksman. Well,
Okay.
Bob, I was in the Army and I couldn't have made that shot.
Okay, so Bob, did you mistype anything, or are you saying that you think Oswald could have done that shot? Because it's a very easy shot.
I disagree.
I mean, because what you said here, Bob, is you think that he could do it and you could do it, unless you mistype something. Okay, another friend watching here, Dave Smith, grew up with this kid. Dave, we're touching on a few conspiracies: 9/11, the moon landing, and JFK. Do you think any of those are conspiracies, Smitty?
Thompson just made an arrest. This guy! The target also was taking candy from the baby. Don't give candy to a baby. The kid was 15. Any different than Georgia? I have questions. Outrage. Hugs. 99. Brooklyn 99. Starts Thursday at 7 on
And Bob,
TNN.
you got to remember that Oswald qualified as a sharpshooter in the Marine Corps, which is good.
What's the matter? This is the third time I've ever repeated this. Sorry, doesn't matter.
And he was not an expert.
Huh?
Oswald was not an expert.
He was a sharpshooter in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, but not an expert.
Well, I believe anybody with Marine training could have got that shot off. Okay, here we go. Meaning LBJ was a typical politician. He may have possibly seized upon the opportunity for civil rights laws for the legacy. Okay. I mean,
But how does that have to do with him being involved with the Kennedy
yeah.
assassination?
Yeah, again, like Chris had a great question there. Why does that implement him in the conspiracy? Because I personally don't think that LBJ was happy when he got the role as president initially. He didn't want to take it under those circumstances. That was horrible.
What do you got, George?
And he was sworn in on the plane. I mean,
Yes, sir. Yes, George. I want you to make this project a top priority. I wasn't. I'm ready.
Well, all right, my brother. I need to close it up because I'm about to pass out.
all right, man. We'll just, all right. I guess we gotta go, guys.
So, well, let's pick out another one and do another podcast.
Bob, give me a message on Facebook Messenger if you want to go live with me. You can go live with me, and we can talk about this Kennedy assassination.
Having trouble getting started, and you want his advice.
Bob, I'm gonna message you on Messenger. Okay.
I have my keys.
All right, Chris.
All right, now you gonna post this?